How's Barbara?
Good, Chip. How are you?
Have a good weekend? Yeah. Nice day.
That's
Putting 10 on that.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. We'll start off with pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Inside with the big decision. Got it. Again, we had Washington County Board, Survey County, day this week, if I had said. All right, good morning, everybody. Review the minutes and make a motion that we pass them.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved, second, all in favor?
Aye. Make a motion, we pay the claims in the amount of $487,261.35.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been moved, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Got some ads and dates.
2022-890 through 894 and 896. And total tax change is a negative $1,713.61.
Make a motion to accept these ad and debates, 890 through 894 and 896 for a total of negative $1,713.61.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Also have a note from Maggie Griffith, who's been the Sheridan Township Treasurer. She has resigned that position. And in her note, she stated that Karen Springer has agreed to take the position. Karen is already a Sheridan Township officer, so it's going to create another vacancy, but that will get the treasurer's spot covered. So I would just need a motion to appoint Karen Springer as the Sheridan Township Treasurer.
I'll make a motion that we accept Karen Karen what?
Karen Springer.
Karen Springer for the Sheridan Township Treasurer position.
I'll second it.
Motion moved, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have the year-to-date clerk report.
So for the month of March, our income totals at the lake are $16,859.63. And our expenses are $27,284.33. Year to date is, public income is $46,339.22. And our expenses is $75,444.01 for a loss of negative $29,104.79.
And I have the sheriff's monthly fee report.
That marina sales went way up from what it typically is. The Linn County Sheriff's Office end of month report is a total of $124,265. I'll make a motion to accept it.
I'll second that.
Motion moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
And then I've also got the prisoner count. Give it here too if he wants to comment on it.
I always email that to them, thank you. Which was painful. It's okay with them.
And I think that's all I have for now.
Kevin, you want to go ahead and come on up?
Good morning, Commissioners. Kevin Friend, Linn County Sheriff. Now, you guys have numbers in front of you, but we'll give them to the public. This morning, we have 53 inmates in-house. Had 8 releases this past week. Announced to you last week, we're going to bring that inmate number up a little bit, and I've been in contact with the marshals, and they're setting that process up now. You'll see we still have 32 farmed in. That was the same we had last week. We have a dozen marshals and 20 Wyandottes. Wyandotte had been running a little bit low due to their court schedules, but they brought us a few this past week we'd release some of theirs, and they'd come and pick them up, take them back to Wyandotte, and then they brought us some more. So had 133 911 calls, 4,109 contacts in the jail through jail staff checking inmates and such. Total calls for service for the county-wide, be fire, EMS, law. It could be anybody. It could be highway patrol, fish and game. 628 calls come into dispatch that were dispatched out for calls for service. Civil service papers this last week were 13. That was up a little bit from the week before. Courts are really back in session and doing a lot there. So we see that increase. VIN inspections, we had 7 of those this past week. New cases open were 9. Cases closed were 8. County worked 5 vehicle crashes. And of course, that's just county. That's not cities, state, or anybody else working them. That's just our deputies. 46 SRO activities. Of course, we had Easter break in there, so that cut it down a lot. We had quite a few less there, probably near 100 less. Bailiff contacts at 105, with 58 of those developed into calls for service. We had 15 livestock out responses this week, so that's quite a few more, but don't know why, but I guess things are moving around a little bit. So.
Greener grass.
Yeah, greener grass. It's always greener on the other side. But I think that's all I have. I was talking to Randy here this morning. They had a load of controlled burn stuff this past weekend, and actually last week quite a few as well. So that was a lot of our calls for service, because those, when those come in, I think we had 46 of those or 47 of those on Saturday. When those come in, dispatch makes it a call for service. They put it in waiting, and if that would develop as, something more, they already have a call for service ready to go for that. So that's one reason those calls for service stay up in March, April, and May, I guess, some too. So, but that's all I have for the commission. Do you have anything for me?
You got anything big coming up, any training or anything like that for your people? Anything?
No, not really. We done, those last couple of weeks, we done a de-escalation class through the National De-Escalation Center here at the office. That was well attended, a really good event. We've had Osage County and Coffee County both in quite a bit. They're studying some of our processes. They were in last week. Osage County was. No, I'm sorry, Coffee County was. They had jail staff members over learning some of the systems that we currently have in place, because they're going to go to them, the Guardian system and our commissary system, just because they're working really well for us. So I've been working a lot with Tom on those, their sheriff in Coffee, and Chris in Osage as well. But we have their people come over, about on a monthly basis anymore, and training for stuff to be ready for their facility.
Is Goldberg building theirs too?
Yeah, both of those are Goldberg facilities, hence the fact they come here to,
This morning,
yeah, they come here to kind of study ours, so there won't be surprises in theirs, because that's one thing you run into. I think what folks building the facilities have to know is there's going to be things that go wrong in time, and things that, well, quite frankly, go wrong on day one, or, and today we have Martin Mechanical over at the building. They're going to be replacing a fan. We have a bearing going out of one, and it's still working. Everything's operating, but it's just growling. Local boy, Reed Hines, over there this morning, he works for Martin, and he's on the roof right now doing some testing on that to see what he needs to replace and such. So, but don't have anything huge upcoming. Nothing I can think of off the top of my head anyway, nothing this week. So
no major issues with the building?
No, the building's been operating real well. Once we kind of got those plumbing issues all lined out, everything got well, and we haven't had any of that for some time. We've had a couple, the Willoughby system, which is the water control system. We've had a couple of those boards out. Willoughby's worked with us real well to replace those products and stuff. So I know Mike Chappelle, he's worked with them, you guys as maintenance guy, and Mike's done a good job coming in for Rick and taking on some of those tasks. They don't take very long to change out, but I've suggested to him that he'd work with our staff as well. So if we had jail staff that could actually change out one of those boards, they're a pretty quick deal and wouldn't have to bother him. Other than that, it's just general maintenance. And what I'm finding is, of course, a lot of that maintenance, those agreements and plans and stuff on that for the maintenance are rather expensive. My contractual's getting eaten pretty quick. I hope by July or August we'll, kind of fall back on that contractual stuff. It's once a year payments for most of that. So, but I'm watching my contractual and getting a little bit nervous. Utilities are, as we discussed many times, utilities are more than we kind of bargained for, I think. I know last month we were around 13,000 in electric, gas, and water for those types of utilities. So that's a little bit scary when we look at our budget dollars, because that one's going to have to come up it's going to have an uptick this next year. But I think once we get all that stabilized and figure out where we're at, we'll be in good shape. And I don't see there's going to be a lot of issues. I was kind of surprised with this last month's utilities because I thought we were doing a little bit better than that. But we'd been seeing, anywhere from 10 to 12. And last month we were at a $13,000 utility bills for the whole building. So that, a few of those things be problematic at budget time, but
What do you think the issue was there? I mean, what do you think caused that? Just-
I don't know. Maybe it's, maybe we have different utilities kicking on and in place, AC coming on and stuff like that with the, building heating and stuff. And we've seen a little bit higher utility bills August, September, October. Of course, we had AC engaged a whole bunch there. But, we'll just have to keep watching it. And
So our true test is in June.
yeah, we'll probably see, June, July. But I think, when you're doing 44,000 square foot, there's a lot of space upstairs in that thing that remains hot or cold. So you're always trying to fight that temperature. Or one thing I will say, I was working with Chris Martin last week, and we were testing things like our building humidity and stuff. And quite frankly, we were really low in humidity in the building. So, we'll probably have to engage. We have a system in the building for some humidity control, and we'll probably have to engage that pretty soon to get our humidities levels correct, because we were really dry. Probably said no sheriff ever with our old jails, because they were all really damp and high humidities, and we're seeing over there, 70 and 80% humidity, where with our building over here right now, we're seeing 33 to 40% humidity. So things like that are concerning, because that's where your bacteria, black mold, things like that come into growth. Well, with our system right now, we're really dry in it. So, and I think a lot of that's because of water usage and things like that. We limit that stuff, and we're able to keep a better gauge in our hot water, which produces a lot of steam, when people are showering and stuff. So I think we're in really pretty good shape right now, as far as the building goes. So happy with that. We recently had the K-Camp inspection, where they came in and inspected the entire facility. They're going to give us a written report back, and I don't know when that comes. David might have more information.
When we'll get it.
We had our fire marshal's inspection. We had zero issues with that. So we were honestly surprised there, because that was our first fire marshal's inspection. A lot of times you'll get dinged for where extinguishers are placed, or just simple things, and we kind of really expected some of that, but we didn't see it. So
That's good.
that was a good deal for us in the end. And then K-Camp was much tougher. They came in and they
And the
were,
fire marshal?
yeah, K-Camp was much tougher for their facility inspection. They had a lot of recommendations, simple things. They suggested, some simple stuff like we'd fence around the generators and stuff like that, because they've had some claims where people would damage that equipment and things. So that's something that I'm looking at to, see what we could have for a solution for that. But there was just some smaller stuff like that. I mean, it's not game changers, and it's not that, probably not that we have to, but if we wouldn't want to see an rate increase at some point, they're probably going to have an expectation we'd do some of that stuff. So anything else, Commission?
I don't have anything else. Thanks.
Appreciate your time this morning. Thank you, gentlemen.
Sheriff.
Galen?
Good morning, Galen Anderson with American Medical Response. I'm going to hand out a monthly report for the month of March and review that with you. All right, so for the month of March, just review with requests and transports by city. There was one request that didn't fall into a city limit proper. Then Blue Mound had 9 requests for service with 5 transports. Centerville had 7 requests for service with 4 transports. And then Lacine had 19 requests for service with 10 transports. Linn Valley had 10 requests with 7 transports. Mound City had 13 requests with 7 transports. Parker had 8 requests with 3 transports. Pleasanton had 26 requests with 17 transports. Prescott had 5 requests with 3 transports. So overall for the county, there was 98 ambulance requests. and 56 transports. And then to break it down by district, District 1 had 31 requests with 16 transports and an average response time of 9 minutes 6 seconds. District 2 had 34 requests with 21 transports and an average response time of 11 minutes 20 seconds. District 3 had 30 total requests with 17 transports, and the average response time was 18 minutes 59 seconds. All told, similar numbers. The average response time for the county was 13 minutes and 4 seconds. In terms of ambulances being in service, we were scheduled to have 1,488 unit hours, which was just each hour an individual ambulance is in service and to be utilized. And we had 1,482, so we were staffed up 99.9%. Sorry, 99.6% of the planned hours. There were 5 total transports out by helicopter. 1 was for a suspected stroke, 2 were for suspected heart attacks, and then 2 were for critical medical patients. So that's what I have for March. Any questions on that data? So far at this point in the month, in the last 7 days, we've had 14 transports, and for this point in the month, we're sitting at 19 transports. Still have the 1 open paramedic position that we're actively recruiting for, and I think that's all I have. Thing for me.
No, we got you on here for some executive session. You want to go on that right now so you can get on your way?
If it works for you guys, I'm
Is that good with-
available now or
Randy,
later.
is that good with you if we go with him? How long do you think you need, Galen? 10, 15?
10 or 15, probably 15 minutes.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session with Galen Anderson with AMR for trade secrets for 15 minutes.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There was no action. All right, Randy?
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Hagwald, Linn County Rural Fire and Emergency Management. Handed out the weekly run report. We had 22 incidents over last week. You notice most of them, 8 of the 22 were grass fires and fires that had gone away from people. Brings our yearly total to 137. The next thing I have is I have an application for Station 910, which is Mound City Station, for Chris Wharton. He's already employed by the county, and so I would ask for permission to put him on Mound City Station. That bring their number up to 7 members out of 15 available spots.
You say Chris Wharton?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, we hire Chris Wharton as, fireman for the Mound City Department.
I'll second. Any more discussion? Motion been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That is all I have, for my part. If you guys have any questions or.
Have we got anywhere with the mutual aid agreements with the cities?
I am working on those. I've talked to Linn and mentioned it to Linn Valley. Just kind of working through that, get it to the fire board, get their approval.
Any good candidates on your advertisement for your opening?
I believe we have 5 applications right now. I talked to David this morning about that. I'm going to visit with Lauren in the office about setting up the interviews over the next couple weeks. So
Good. Didn't you have some guys that just went to training last?
we ended up sending a couple of guys down to Parsons Fire School.
How'd that go?
Went really well. They enjoyed it, brought a lot of knowledge back. One of them had been on less than a month, so they were able to gain a lot of knowledge. They were there for 2 days.
Just thinking, Randy, on interviews, the first week of May is not going to be a good week for our clerk's conference is that week. I'll be out most of the week, and I'm taking some of them with me for parts of it. So
Okay.
short staff that week.
Yeah, we'll work around that. No problem.
I don't have anything else for you.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
I know you guys, Danny had asked Renee to come in and speak this morning as well, so.
Yeah, we'll let her. You want to come up and just state your name, and what you're doing?
My name is Renee Marshall, and I am the sister of the fallen firefighter Josh Haynes that passed away in June of last year. I have a few things to hand out. We are going to Maryland, May 5th, 6th, and 7th for a fallen firefighter memorial, and they will be honoring my brother. And I have a copy of the itinerary, so you guys know that we're actually like going and doing what we're saying, and we're not just going out there for vacation, because that's definitely not what it is. So I do have a copy of that, and I also have what we kind of drew up and gave to the fallen firefighters, and so this will also be presented out there, and they will acknowledge kind of the thing that we wrote. Basically, today I'm here to ask for help getting there. I do have a list of who would be going, which is my mom and dad, my husband and I, and my sister. Unfortunately, none of his kids are able to go.
No, the program pays for the kids to go if they wanted to, right? But not the rest of the.
Yes, 100% for the kids. They just don't pay for the family members, just the children. And we have reached out to the parents of those children and the moms, and they have told us no, that they are not allowed to attend. So I do not have a price for the airline tickets, because every day those prices change. So when I looked a month ago, they were like $150 per person round trip. Randy, however, has done some research and kind of looked at some stuff as well, and I'll let him talk about that.
On the airline tickets round trip to leave that Friday and come back that Sunday, they're averaging between 400 and 600 round trip per person. So, and that was as of this morning.
You had how many people?
5.
5?
Yes. Oh, and I would also like to include Randy. I had asked, they highly suggest somebody from the station or the county. And so I actually have invited Randy to go out to represent Linn County since he is the fire chief and a representative for 920. So I would like for him to attend as well. He has his own itinerary of stuff that they would, it's kind of like a counseling thing. You know, you get to meet with other family members and stuff of other fallen firefighters, and it's to really help you with your grieving process and stuff. And they also do stuff for firefighters and stuff, and so he could bring the knowledge back for Station 920 or anybody else that was super close to my brother. So I would also like to include Randy to go out there with us as well. So that would be a total of 6.
And you're only asking for to help with the airline tickets only? Or is
Yes.
there anything else?
No.
What do you guys think?
I'm okay with it.
Randy, is there anything through the Relief Association where they could help with anything on that?
I'd have to. I don't think so.
What is this memorial? Can you explain what it is?
I actually have like a little brochure thing. I have the whole packet that they sent to us. So basically, it's just, unless Randy can explain it better, I'm not.
So it's the National Fallen Firefighter Memorial Weekend at Emmitsburg, Maryland. It's national memorial. It's a wall and everything. What they do is the weekend out of the year, they fly all fallen firefighters' families out there for this weekend. They read off their name and memorialize them for that weekend. But like Renee said, there's a lot of stuff that they do for the families while they're out there to help them with this grieving process. It's on the grounds of the National Fire Academy. So.
Little brochure here, that just kind of just talk about them, like what they do. It just goes through and just talks, you know, different things that they do. I'm sorry. I mean, you guys can look at that stuff. That's just kind of like it's beneficial. And like I said, I would like to entertain and ask that you send Randy with us as well. Because I think he could bring back some stuff to kind of help the firefighters. I do know that there are some still firefighters at 920 that kind of struggle. So a little bit of comfort and grief coming, you know, that he can bring back from there, I think would be beneficial as well.
I think it's important that we support the Haynes family in doing this. It's a sad deal, and I would like to see everybody go out there and be part of it and represent Linn County and Josh and everybody else. Randy, you said 500
Or 6.
That's
around.
what I seen this morning. They were running between 4 and 6.
$3,000.
And on my part, I actually have applied. It's actually called a family escort position. And I've applied where I actually stay on the campus, the Fire Academy campus in the dorms, and that's at no cost, so.
No, I did rent 2 rooms at the hotel for us because we had so many going. Um, So they just couldn't fit enough in one room. I mean, even though it's my mom and dad and my sister, you know. So I don't mind paying for our hotel room. I mean, I would do it anyway. So that's why I didn't ask for that. We need help getting out there. You guys have any other questions?
I think it's the least we can do for you, and, but I'd make, you want to do up to, a number of spending allowance? Because if the tickets fluctuate, what do you think, Gary?
Oh, you probably ought to authorize tickets of $4,000 or something. Don't you think?
Randy, you think that'd get you taken care of if we authorized up to 4,000 to purchase these tickets?
That should more than cover it, so if there's any other issues, I can let you know and send out email to you guys, but, I was gonna check with David to see if, I don't know, any other county employees that have traveled in the past, if they went through it like a travel agency or what, but I was gonna check with David today and kind of what the procedure on that is.
Yeah, we really don't have very often that we have anybody that needs to fly. I think occasionally there's been some with the health department or with the attorney's office where they've gone to some other states, but they set it up and I'm not aware of what they use to get their tickets.
Could we do up to how would you guys feel like we did up to $4,000 and then allowed them to, if there's money left over after tickets as for expense? Is that something, can we do something like that, Gary?
That's up to you. You can do whatever you want.
David, how would that work? If we just did like a up to $4,000 allowance and then they found cheaper tickets or whatever, could we allow them to utilize the rest of the funds that they don't use for expenses to help out?
Well, I mean, I think you probably could. I mean, really, what she was asking for was the tickets.
Well, I know, but it's. What do you guys think?
I think they asked for theirs, but really good for that, but
All right. I'll make a motion that where we go under Randy, or how would we do that? To allow him to spend up to,
Don't know where you want to take it from. I mean, we didn't have anything budgeted for anything like that.
yeah, but it's important. We didn't expect him to die either, so, he was representing the county, and I think it's important. I think we can figure it out.
I mean, this would probably be something we could use contingency money for if we needed to, but.
right.
But you could authorize Randy to make the purchases. I think that's what you were actually asking, isn't it?
Do you have anything you could take it out of, Randy?
I'd have to look. Yeah, I'd have to just go and look for sure on that. And I can check with the FRA, see if there's anything there.
I'd make a motion to allow Randy to look into and purchase airline tickets to go to this fallen firefighter memorial with the Haynes family for up to $4,000.
I'll second that motion.
Motion moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And I do have one more thing. It's a little bit more happier than that. I was wanting to know if I could adopt a highway. It would be south of Casey's in Pleasanton to the racetrack, so just right before 52, and in honor of my brother. We were going to do 69 Highway, and Allie Hamilton had been working on that Walter Scott Brown or whatever. And so 69 Highway is not an option. But I would like to see if I can adopt, with your guys' approval, Tucker Road, south of Casey's to the racetrack.
Legally standing, Gary, how would that even?
I don't know. We've never done that. I'd have to figure that out.
Let us look into it and figure out what the legality of it is and,
I talked to Kevin Amer, just briefly about the signs, and I kind of know like what I want to put on the signs. And so he told me actually, because I was just going to ask permission to put signs up, around Casey's and around the racetrack. And he suggested that I do adopt a highway, and then it would make that section, a memorial for my brother. And so he actually is the one that suggested doing adopt a highway. So, and it's the adopt a highway program, I guess is how he put it.
so there's an actual program that,
Yes.
Through the state.
Yes.
I think that only applies to state highways or to,
Right.
I don't think that would apply to a county road.
He said it would.
Okay, well.
Yep. That's why he suggested that
Yeah,
yeah.
let us look into it and we'll try to get some answers on it.
Okay, and if you have any questions, you can call Kevin Amer. He's the one that suggested the adopt a highway.
All right, well, appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Renee.
You have that.
Do you need that, right?
No, you can keep that one. I make copies for the other ones, but that's just the itinerary of what we'll be doing up there.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Sean?
Sean West, Public Works Administrator. We got, junior testing tomorrow, for his final CDL, driving test. Our Hell's Bend Bridge project, I've been working with Jessica and then met with Gary this morning. We're going to go forward with a plan on it as far as the right-of-ways. And I'm in communication with the state on it, trying to get it and keep our timeline. I'll keep you updated as that process goes through. I spoke with Christie about some drainage around the courthouse and downspouts. Their project area is out front. At a minimum cost, I need to bury some piping, some PVC to keep the drainage out of their project areas. You'll see the two main drains come out the front, and it's something that on most all the corners on the courthouse, it's already been done, but I need to go do that, and as well look at, and David, I don't know if they've got a project budget or anything for this, but we need to look at replacing the landscaping timbers to keep that rock out of the front of the courthouse from edging into the project. It was suggested to me that we use the stone that they did the planters in the back with.
I mean, we really didn't develop a budget for that. I know they've got some money coming in from the gardeners to help with things.
Okay. I could get an estimate on the stone but the drainage, I'm thinking it's just going to take maybe an hour and a half, and our trencher and probably $150 worth of pipe or materials.
Pop-up drain or something, or how do the other ones drain? Are they in a pop-up drain away from the building or what?
No, they're channeled into PVC and PVC out into the yard away from the building.
That's underground?
Yes. We would just trench them in about 4 inches below and put them into PVC the same way as the others and push them out of the project area. So I'll come back with the numbers on any material that might be in excess of $150 on it. The rock, that if we chose to do that, you'll notice that there is timbers all the way around the courthouse holding that rock in against the courthouse itself. And most of those timbers are dated, aged, and rotting. So we're going to have to do something with those. If it's something we want to go back because of pricing, we want to just go back with the timbers and edge it again, we can do that. If it's something that, I think the stone would be overall less maintenance in the future, but it's going to be probably $500 a pallet to do that. So I'll come back up with some pricing before we go any further on that. Working on the RFP for the equipments that we're looking to replace this year. It's been brought to me and a suggestion has been made, and I do agree with it. The road shop guys, along with some of the equipment operators, have asked me to look in when we replace the backhoes, to replace them not with backhoes, but with small rubber track hose. These would be just a little bit larger than a mini, but not a full-size track hoe. The reason being is we could still do our culvert work with them. They could be trailered anywhere they needed to go. And with two different attachments, 5-foot smooth bucket used for cleaning culverts. You could go along the roadway with the rubber tracks, not tear up our hard surface roadways, but still clean out those drainage areas with that larger smooth bucket.
Our ditching is what you're talking about. They would be able to work on our ditching issues.
That's correct. And then the other attachment would be a forestry head. The forestry head would not only allow us to get rid of the boom mowers, so we would not only get rid of the aging two backhoes, we would get rid of our two boom mowers. The forestry head would also save us the time of going back after we trim these roadways back. We're having to go back and pick the brush up. The forestry head grinds all that up as it goes through. So there would be a cost savings and man-hour savings in cleaning this up. As I'm getting ready to go out to bid on these things, I budgeted $175 for backhoes. With the three attachments, we would be closer to $250 or $260 on these pieces of equipment. I would like to go ahead and bid them out because I think getting rid of 4 pieces of equipment and saving us the man hours, that I can go back and readjust that equipment schedule that I gave you in the long run to make us benefit from not only man hours saved, but fuel and time on these projects, and get rid of a couple of pieces of equipment that we can multi-purpose by just having attachments.
So what, you think like a 6-ton machine, like 6, or how big?
3,500 or 1,000 pounds, I'm sorry.
How many backhoes do we have now?
You have 3, Pleasanton, Lacine, and Mound City. This would get rid of 2 of the 3 and 2 of your boom mowers.
We'd utilize that to do all the boom mowing. It'd be a slow process, wouldn't it? Does the tractor go pretty fast? I mean,
I don't think with the boom mower, when you're trimming back, that it goes that fast, but what speed you lose, you'd gain back in not having to come back and clean the ditches out and pick up the brush and the trash from the boom mowing process. My understanding from the research that the guys did that this forestry had, like I said,
A lot of maintenance on the boom mowers too.
so. And I think it goes along with the theory that we were talking about in attachments rather than other pieces of equipment. I mean, when you put a motor to it, it's going to need maintenance, it's going to need service, it's going to have wear and tear on it. But when you're talking about attachments for one piece of equipment and not having to go back and pick up the brush and take a truck and the skid steer with grapple hook or grapple claws on it, I think we'll save over time, we'll save back our expense and our cost in it.
Is there a certain RPM engine that you have to, a size that you have to run that, the Ultra deal you're talking about?
I'm sure there is. The ones that Mike looked at, they're all different sizes depending on which manufacturer. So we're looking at a weight limit from this weight to this of the machine because the
Hydraulic flow is what you gotta have for that too.
Flow, yeah.
Surely it'd be like a 6 to 10, wouldn't it?
I don't know what size it takes. They got some of them smaller ones that's got the high flow now. Takes a high flow machine to run the.
But if that's something you're interested in, I would like to go look at the bids on these instead of the backhoes. If it doesn't work, we can still go back and bid the backhoes and back up on it.
Anybody to bring one down, try it as far as it's.
Mike tried that and they don't have any availability.
It's been up, so I'd use it.
Well, I'm just saying that.
It's been all weekend, so.
They can see, show us
No, I agree.
What we're getting,
what we're getting.
How many are you wanting? 3?
two.
Two.
And surely with that amount of money, they do something.
Mike, like I said, tried to accomplish that, but he had some difficulty with finding available equipment to bring down. The other thing they're looking for is the quick detach for the attachments on it. One, so we don't have to fight and beat pins, and I mean, so one operator can pick this attachment up and switch it out, and the wear and tear. If we're going to put 3 different implements on the front of it, you don't want to be beating that thing off of there on a regular basis. So we do want something that's made to pull those attachments on and off of.
I think Bobcat has a pretty good one. Pretty good machine. Is that where didn't you just get 2 motors from there?
We got 2 skid steers that were Bobcats.
Where has he reached out to? What companies?
Bobcat, John Deere, and Case. And Case is
I never used it, too.
at this point, Case is the only one that makes their forestry head. John Deere and Bobcat would have to have that from an outside vendor made for the machine.
I don't have any problem going out, getting pricing and a plan. What do you guys think?
That is, and I noticed that Commissioner Hightower's got the equipment schedule out. That is going to require me to go back and redo that because the pricing on these are a little more.
Right.
But I think, like I said, in the long run, this may be a better, more beneficial project, and again, reduce our equipment inventory that sets for part of the year and get us something that we can use with multiple.
So we have 2 tractors and boom mowers as well that we're liquidating.
Yes, we have.
How many mowers and tractors do we have? As far as,
I'd have to look at the inventory to give you a full number of those. But we do have a boom mower in both the north and the south shop.
Issues?
oh, no, I don't think so. I just
I think
wondered.
it's regular mowers, aren't they?
Yeah, that's got the boom, or just the mowers on the brakes, I think.
So if they're not cutting trees and doing all that, we're gonna have people in it full-time ditching or what? Is that your plan?
It would give us the ability to do more ditching when that equipment's not being used for trees, culverts. But it would it would reduce the amount of time that the boom mowers and the backhoes both sit on the lot between times that they're being used.
Even that, if we got an extra rubber tired hose sitting around, we could be utilizing it somewhere. If we got one sitting there, it's,
Yep.
even if we don't need two of these right off, to make sure what we're getting we like.
I'm all right with going out and price, getting kind of a plan and coming back to us.
Okay, I'll work on that. Transfer station, Mr. Kerr and Mr. Page looked at the tipping floor structure. I was unable to meet with them, the day they went over. I do have, Randy's cost estimate for the sheeting, as soon as, Mr. Kerr gets me those other numbers for the steel, I'll bring those things back to you. I have a year-to-date on the park.
Like we already got it.
You got it?
I got a question on that. How come our Airbnbs, we haven't done any? Do you know? We're not doing very much activity on Airbnb, it doesn't look like.
I would have to inquire about that. The only thing I do know is if you look at this month's totals, there was quite a difference in those. And I'm being told Sherry's going to look into the other items, but this is when she purchased the stock for the summer. So a portion of that difference is us stocking the marina for the customers to start showing up. So I know that it looks like there's a large difference there this month, but there was some purchasing to get that ready for the season.
Do we ever flip a profit on the marina sales? I mean, does it ever even out or no? Or are we just spending more money than we usually make there?
I would have to bring you the cost of the man hours and the marina sales itself, not the site rentals, in order to tell you that. I'd have to go back and break it down to give you an accurate answer on that. But I would have to assume, even with the site rentals and everything else, that the marina serves as not only a store, but an office for the park, for contacts, for all the site rentals.
But looking at the past year's report, we would, just based on that, we would expect the income to start going up a fair amount in April and then a lot in May and on through the summer. So it typically, for the year, does balance back out a lot better than that. It's not unusual to be quite a ways in the hole at this point of the year.
Even this month, it's been about 4 or 5 times marina sales anyway.
Are we just open during the week right now, or we're not open on weekends at all, or?
I'll have to check. I believe they opened up for the season, but I'm going to have to check on that to confirm that. If they haven't opened up, they will be opened up very quickly for the season and go to their 7-day schedule. Several trees, as we had across the county, several trees were removed from camping areas. Chris has been working on the Wi-Fi at the cabins and installing some of the component parts for that. And as part of the contacts that you asked us to make, Sherry's been in contact with Evergy, and we got some positive feedback about some opportunities for some of the projects that we're looking at in partnership with Evergy. So as soon as we firm those things up, we'll bring those back to you as well. Last week at the Trading Post, we had the county weed directors meeting for our area. It went well. Johnny and Carl were there. I was able to attend. Commissioner McCullough was there. And it's a large part of the process for them to continue their not only the learning, but to get information about purchasing and the chemicals and applications that they're using. The sign truck is back in service and the repairs have been made last week. And it looks like, Gary, you have the time we spoke about this morning for our solid waste issues as far as legal.
Yeah, we'll need an executive session to discuss, some solid waste contractual matters.
And then I would also like to add to that about 10 minutes with some issues as far as legal on contractual items. And that's all I currently have for you.
Is there any plans on that Lacing Curve project out there by the river? Do they have a date yet on when they're gonna finish that?
I believe all the groundwork, the roadway surfacing and the erosion control has been done. Then when we start doing our asphalt this season, we'll start scheduling the hard surfacing on it. But I believe most of the work, if not all of the work, is prepared for us to start that process. The last time I was out there, if there's more to do, then it's the erosion control on the edges or the rock that they're laying in.
Did you get my text message with the commissioner from Missouri? The group.
I left my phone in there, but if you sent it anytime before 8 this morning, no, I have not.
Okay, I sent it a few days ago, but I'll have to resend it. But it was what I was talking about out there on State Line, Missouri. Contacted him. You and I have already went and looked at the issue, but we need to get a meeting put together with him. So I'll get his info.
Yeah, if you'll resend that to me, I'll get to work on that as well.
Yes, I gotta step out and get a phone on really second. Real fast. Sorry, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Said you got time. Sorry. Bobcat. We already got Taylor's here for the CDBG hearing, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can go ahead and proceed with that. And Justin, you want to share with us first?
What time is that set for?
Can we not do it before then?
We can't do it before.
Okay. Do you have anything to share with us, Jessica?
I do have a couple of other things this morning. We did not get the moderate income housing grant this round. Those announcements came out on Friday. They have also announced that they're doing a new program within the moderate income housing that I'm really interested in. We don't know a whole lot about it yet because it just came out Friday. There are a couple of workshops that the Kansas Housing Corporation is putting on about the MIH grant that they administer. Darcy and I are planning to go. It's about the application process and how best to fill that out. So we're looking into that, and we will rework our application for the next round of grants. I had 19 youth employment grant applications turned in. Those were due last week. The Economic Development Committee will look at those and score them at our meeting next week, and then I'll bring them to you the following week for
How many do we give out?
10.
10.
Yep, we give out 10.
Wasn't last year kind of hard to get them, or was it the year before? Or
No, I have had probably 4 years where I've had more applications than I have available grants. The other thing that I need to ask about is our scarecrow lawn. The people who are mowing have asked if we would like them to bid seeding or sodding around the new construction where the grass is pretty sparse now. They were out to mow last week and noticed that how little there is there. We do not have the equipment to do that in-house. We don't have the aerators or anything like that that would be needed to seed it correctly. So I don't know if that's something y'all are interested in, going out for bid for that. And if you have a preference whether we do seed or sod, Scarecrow offered either one.
do we have to send it completely out to bid, or can we just allow them to give us a price? And
I think you can just ask them to provide a price. I don't think it'll be a high enough amount that's. We would have to-
Especially if we're doing seed.
Yeah, I think you guys good with that?
Would you like me to price both or just seed?
I think just seed probably.
Okay.
Seed's good.
I'll see if they can get me that this week and maybe we can talk about it again next week. That's all I've got until the hearing, and then we're talking about the airport later, so.
We've got two, while Jessica's here, I've got two leases for you to sign. This is the lease on the agricultural land at the airport and the lease on the agricultural land at the landfill. They've been signed by the lessors. The airport, I think we leased 70 acres for hay. At the other place, it was
I think it's 23 of
23
crop.
for cropland.
Should we wait on the airport?
Well, that's up to you. I
We'll
mean,
be
this,
talking about it later. I mean, I don't know.
We've already accepted their bid. Does that matter?
well, until
And
they've
he's-
acted in here, we haven't.
He's
accepted
paid
it.
for it too.
Do whatever. That way, the lease is just gonna be
It's just for a year.
outstanding on the property. They'll be able to keep their lease even if we were to make other plans. Right?
I couldn't understand what you said.
They would be able to keep their lease even if we
Lease
made
is
other
good.
plans. It would
If,
just,
if we lease it and then sell it, it's sold subject to the lease.
correct. Okay.
They have both already paid their payments in full. When they did that, when they came in to sign.
So what you'll want is a motion to authorize Danny to sign that contract.
I'll make a motion that we authorize Danny to sign the lease contracts at the airport and the landfill.
I'll second it.
Motion to move second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I want copies of the signed ones.
Yep. Do you have anything else? We've got 5 minutes until the hearing for me.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't. Thank you, Jessica.
We'll take a vote on the price today. If we get on this cabinet, the lake will $49 night, everybody else is like 84, 16, 62. That's in Lacey. Have you seen that? Covered wagons.
North of Lacey.
That's pretty neat. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that's a isinglass winery.
Oh, that's where that's at?
Yep.
That's pretty neat. I've never seen that. You guys got anything you want to discuss for 5 minutes or take a recess for 5 minutes, use the restroom, get ready for the hearing?
It's fun.
I'll make a motion that we take a 5-minute recess until 10:30, actually a 9-minute until 10:30, or
No.
4 minutes, sorry. Until 10:30, so we have the CDBG hearing. So that's my motion.
I'll second it.
Motion moving second, all in favor? Aye.
Right, so they, after the letters there, it's like originals. Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't talk about this. I wouldn't talk about this. I'll probably have to meet with you in person. I'll do this. Go around, I'll talk to you and figure
It's in the SharePoint. That's where I saw it.
Hello, Dawn, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Just make a motion to start the CDBG hearing. That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
I think we needed a motion for that, didn't we? Hey, we got it. Let's see, sorry. Go ahead.
Then just for the public hearing, you'll just ask if there's public comments regarding the application, and if there's not, you can close the public hearing.
Do we have any comments on the CDBG hearing? Going once, going twice, so none.
Okay, so then you motion to
Make
close.
a motion that we close the CDBG hearing.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then there's just some forms that go with this application that I need signed. The first one
Oh, man.
The first one is a resolution. The resolution is just saying that you have the legal authority to apply. So I think Jessica filled in the resolution number for you on it. And so you'll just want a motion to pass that resolution.
We could talk about the description of the project, or do you want to, or Dr. Allen,
A description of the project, is that what you said? I'm sorry. So it's just an application for the youth job training program through the STARS facility. USD 344 is applying on behalf of STARS because it has to be a school district or a nonprofit. The application will be for $100,000 to purchase. I think we landed on 2 desktop simulators and 25 computers, tables, and chairs to create a computer lab at the facility. And STARS, or USD 344, along with the other school districts, are providing the $25,000 match.
Could you explain why we gotta do this in the county?
Excuse me. So CDBG is only, municipalities are the only eligible applicants. So cities or counties have to apply on behalf of whoever it is that is running the program. And we picked Linn County because the youth job training program that we're applying on behalf of serves students from all over your county, not just one city.
I don't have an issue with it. Do you guys? Sounds like a really good deal. And hopefully, I mean, if we apply for it, do we get it, or we have to get picked, or when's the?
No, it's the application's due May 1st, and then they say 30 days for review. It's probably going to be closer to 60 days, just in all honesty. So hopefully midsummer, we'll know if it was awarded or not. They are highly competitive this year. They reduced the pot of money and increased the different categories. So there's only $500,000 available for youth job training. So only 5 awards will be made.
In the past, how many people?
Youth job training is a new program this year, so we have never had this application before.
Dr. Allen gets it.
So I think what the first motion would be to pass the resolution, but then there's going to be some other forms to.
Okay. I'd make a motion that we pass resolution number 2023-19. Resolution clarifying legal authority to apply for the 2023 Kansas Small City Community Development Block Grant Program.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
The next group of forms can be passed as one motion or individually, just however you guys elect to do it. The first one is, I don't know what order Jess has them in.
Determination of level.
Okay, so determination of level of review just explains that because this is a youth job training program, there is no environmental review that will complete on this grant. The next is the disclosure report. Because you're only requesting $100,000 of HUD assistance, we don't have to disclose any interested parties or anything. So basically, you're just saying, I'm not requesting more than 200,000 on that one. The next one is the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan. So this is not applicable to this grant. You still have to sign it because you're not demolishing any residential homes through this grant. And then the last one in this group is the statement of assurances and certifications. Basically says you're going to comply with all the regulations that fall within this grant. And that is what our admin agreement covers, is making sure that you comply.
So do each of these need, so
You can have one motion to approve all the statements and assurances.
You can have one motion to approve all of those documents we just went over. It's not necessarily approving, it's just giving the chairman permission to sign.
you guys wanna make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the signing for Danny to sign on behalf of the commission for the forms needed for the CDBG grant.
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
And then the next form is the interlocal agreement. This is saying that you're applying on behalf of USD 344. That's the the interlocal agreement just outlines the duties of both the county and the school district. It basically says that you guys agree to be the financial intermediary, so the funds will run through the county and you will disperse them to the school district or the program. That USD 344 agrees to use them for what is defined in the grant application. That USD 344 agrees to provide the matching funds, and that USD 344 agrees to follow all the procurement and contractual agreements for the completion of the project outlined. And then this will be further outlined in the grant agreement if awarded. So this just needs permission to be signed by the chairman, and then the school district will sign it as well.
I'll make a motion, we give Danny the permission to sign the agreement.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Danny, I think the one you have in your hand right now is the admin agreement. That's the administration agreement.
I think they're only signed in there.
It's not the administration agreement.
Did I get all those right?
Well, here's an interlocal agreement, but, this one here.
Okay, not this one.
Here's the interlocal agreement. Which I can just-
Isn't this the one we just did? Administrative consulting services. Okay. Looking at the wrong one then.
And then the last form is the administrative agreement. I need 2 copies of it signed by you guys. So that's just entering into the administration agreement with the Southeast Kansas Regional Planning Commission. There's a clause in there that if it's not awarded, you owe no funds. But the project does get project readiness points in the application review process if we have these already executed prior to application. The admin agreement's for $5,000. It's covered by the grant and USD 344. So no cost.
I'll make a motion that we allow Danny to sign the administrative consulting services agreement for the CDBG grant.
I'll second it.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
This, no, you signed both?
Yep.
Yes, please.
It's the same document, but in 2 copies.
I got all that right.
so you see it for the county. So he's got it.
Are you able to apply through two different entities? Like if the city of Pleasanton wanted to apply for it too, could they do it under the same?
Not from the same, not on behalf of the same entity.
Gotcha.
I'm happy to answer any questions. I mean, the thought process behind this was that 40% of the kids enrolled are from 324, which is Pleasanton, and 35% are from Jayhawk that are enrolled. The other 25% are from Prairie View. So it seemed to make more sense of these. Stars is an entity by itself, but we don't have funding for that. And this is all new to me, 501c3, I think is what it's called. And until we have an account to work with, we don't need money, so we can't do it on our own. It's hard to build, it's hard to scratch. It's just a little bit of time process, but it did make more sense than the entire community to do it, at least in my mind.
How many students did you have this year and expected next year?
We started with just over 50 juniors and seniors.
I say 50?
Just over 50. Yes. That's a and that may move. A little bit, but,
Yeah.
Okay.
Jump there. We need one more signature, Danny, because I signed the wrong place.
So can you, this is the agreement that you just signed with ICK. Thank you.
Is everything going as planned when you started this project?
Can't say that everything's going to plan, but say 80% is going to plan. 20% that's way plans. Go right. So it's, and we learned, there's a learning curve, it's, for the most part, I think we've done a good job.
So this isn't just for high schoolers, right? I mean, you could be, any age could enter into this.
We have agreed that, already graduated
This
from
one,
school.
can you have a copy after
Came back.
other things?
So like FAFSA and Pell Grants, stuff like that, pay for this tuition of this?
Again, yeah, you can get financial aid, and just like you were. I mean, essentially, it's a college campus.
So some of these are, do they act as electives for the, or as credits?
For the high school.
Oh, for the high school?
And that's up to the high schools on how they want to do individual electives, and so, yeah, multiple of them, are being dual electives, in high school, credits as well as.
You gave us a pretty good plan. Do you want to go over it?
I need to, plan.
Or if you want to,
I brought some for you guys. Listen, I'm happy you guys know what's going on with your time. I'm happy to let you look at that, digest it, ask questions down the road. I mean, I can talk about this as long as you guys don't talk about it. You know, I feel better about letting you guys look at this for a minute and then have any questions. It's hard to take an abstract idea and put it into something that somebody can put their fingers on. We now have something that you can actually touch, put your fingers on, and then it becomes easier.
you're gonna have to grow your building if you get 150 students in there. So when they graduate, is this a total separate graduation, Pleasant High School graduation?
It is. It just happens to be on the same day at the same time this year.
So do you guys have like your own like board, school board, or how do you guys do that?
We should. There's no finances to be responsible currently, so
You know,
there's really nothing for the board to do. I mean, the board can have abstract ideas, but until there's things actually to do or purchase or breaking on, and then it'll be board. We model, at least in my mind, the model that I come up with is what CTEC is done in Pittsburgh, which stands for Crawford County Technical Education Center. And they have a board, they have an account, the board is responsible for what it's funded.
How are they funded? Is it a tax or?
So CTEC started off as, the county, funded it. They happened to build a, casino in the county, and the county changed it where the casino now funds it. For 10 years, the casino funds it. And, that was the agreement that the casino had to fund CTEC to get their application for county. They did, so the casino was currently funded. I think they've got 4 more years, that the casino. I've discussed with one of the county commissioners, who's offered to come out and answer any questions on how it worked for Pittsburgh and how he was involved in the initial funding of getting that going. And then they have the goose that laid the golden egg, and I drop in and help them. You know,
If they didn't get that casino, how would they have funded it? Do you know? Did they ever talk about it?
what they did originally was funded through the county as a company. It was funded through the county.
So does that go on a? Does that have to go out for vote, like on a ballot? Is that how that works?
Not necessarily. If you're just doing it as part of your budget, I think you could just approve expense for it. If you're talking about sales tax or something like that, or bonds, then you'd have to do,
You'd have to go.
there'd be more to go through for it.
Listen, this is all new to me. I'm borrowing with what I've seen actually work. And, you come in with a big laceration, you need through where exposure, I can do that with one eye. That's easy. This is hard. This is hard stuff. So we're begging, borrowing, stealing ideas from other people who have already done it and used it. And most of this plan that I laid out for you is from what they did properly. Not all. It's unique, but the CTEC is not.
It was in us. Yep. Okay. So.
I don't have any questions, Jay.
I don't know. Thank you.
I appreciate you getting this and read over it, and
Appreciate your consideration.
Thank you,
hopefully you
Jay.
get the grant. All right, Mr. Don George. You building us some docks? Is that what you're doing today?
Sir?
You're gonna build us some docks? Is that what you're gonna come tell us?
Two things on my list. First one was that I've been asked numerous times over the years about trying to help the county pay for docks. And every time I have to say, no, you're not in any of the procedures that we can fund. But there's been a few changes in our administration. So I sent a request up again last week to see, and I hope find out something in the next week if we have funds that would help pay for your docks.
Awesome.
It's way above my pay grade. So, but I can keep pushing it, and maybe this time we'll have some positive information from it. Second thing on my list is you run the Linn County Park, we run the lake. It's imperative to both of us as cooperators in this project to prohibit and decrease the likelihood of zebra mussels, aquatic nuisance species, from entering and getting into any of the waters in this county. We talked about some of this before, but I have a solution. I have a tool to use outside of our door here, and it's an aquatic trailer that I want permission to put in the Linn County Park for a while. that boaters can use to help clean their equipment when they're leaving the lake or coming to the lake, so that it's less likely that boaters will carry in any undesirable things and contaminate the reservoir, the lake itself. That being said, I need a couple of your minutes where we walk out the door and look at this trailer, and I'll show you what it is.
Great.
Can we go to this door? Can you grab the camera and bring it out here? I think it'll be okay. I've already talked to Sherry on the phone. I kind of described it to her. I haven't shown it to her yet. It doesn't take up seat so much. Just looks like power wash right there. What I don't get is how they keep more stuff running back into the lake. If you're getting very close to water, I think it would.
So, we're gonna do the solid waste together. Contractual stuff. I read through what they could expect on for each.
Right.
And you just let fit this in.
All right, sounds good.
So I'm assuming after our visit out there that you won't have a problem with this.
I don't have a problem with it. Thank you.
And I wanted to keep you guys up to date on what we're trying to do to stop this invasion of aquatic nuisance species.
Okay.
So, thank you for your
I
time.
got a question for you.
I'll let you know if I find out something about docks.
Since you guys have the right on the water, Sean, this has to do with you too. The swimming out there at the power plant lake, you heard that we got that in the contract. We're able to do that.
I heard that, and I'm waiting to see the final plan before I approve it.
Okay, so we have to approve it through him, through you.
Wildlife parks and energy.
That's how I understood it was. I know you want to do it, but I want to see, it would be wrong for me to say yes before I see a plan. What do you want to do? So,
Got any funding options for it?
sir,
Got any funding options for it?
for a swimming pool,
For a swimming area?
my money comes from anglers. So unless there's out there in your swimming area.
They catching, well,
then you're kind of out of my realm, even though I've done a lot of work that was outside my realm in this county. I'm not sure about that. I think I'm kind of pushing it to get docks for you, so.
no, I appreciate it. So,
I'll let you know what I find out.
all right, thanks, Don.
Thanks, Dawn.
As always, call me if you got questions.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's all I had. All right.
All right, so Sean was needing an executive session, and then we've got talking about the airport and
Yeah,
table item.
we need about 20 or so minutes of executive time for legal.
Do you think it's 20 enough, or should we do more?
Well, I don't want to, I don't know. We've got basically two topics, unless you get, actually, let's make it 30, because I think there's one other topic Jim wanted to talk about too,
And it's for what? What was it for?
be legal.
Legal? I'll make a motion that we go to executive session for 30 minutes legal with Sean. We'll be back at 11:30.
I'll second it.
Motion moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You got any action? Jim?
Yeah, I do have. Tell you what, I want to make a motion that, due to the concerns about liability, I move that we prohibit all employees from bringing their children to stay at work with them effective immediately. And we add that prohibition to the employee handbook in the next revision. That's my motion.
In the next revision.
In the next revision in the handbook.
And is it already in the handbook, David?
No, that is not. I don't think we addressed that in the handbook now. I'd have to look back and verify, but I'm pretty sure we don't.
Does it have a second?
At the next revision. So what does that mean?
When we revise the book next time, we'll put it in the.
We usually revise it late in the year to go into effect
Once a year.
January 1.
Okay.
But your motion was two things, really. It was
To stop it immediately and then put it in the revision in the handbook, the next revision.
Is there a second?
I'm in favor of us making that revision in our handbook and everything. But what are you trying to accomplish by doing it immediately, Jim?
My concerns about liability, like I said. What I said in the statement.
No second?
Nope.
Motion dies with lack of second. Do you want to do another motion?
I do. I think we should update our employee handbook at our next revision to include us, the employees not being able to bring their child to work.
And do we have a date, I mean, a month or a date, David?
We don't have anything scheduled right now. I mean,
typically we have the last 3 or 4 revisions. We did them in the fall so that they went into effect January 1.
So you guys want to do a revision in August?
June 1st? I'll include that in my motion.
That's your date?
What was it?
June 1st?
I'll second that motion.
so we're talking update the handbook on or effective June 1st.
Yep.
Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion?
I think we should do it immediately.
Okay, do you want to, motion been moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
2-1. Passes. Did you want to do another motion?
No.
Gary, you got anything else?
Nope.
David?
No.
We had to discuss the airport. If you guys want to.
Can I ask for I guess this will come with, probably I'll get with Gary on the language for this for the handbook, but when we say prohibit bringing children to work, you're talking for
Keeping them.
stay at work. I mean,
Yeah, childcare.
nothing's saying somebody's child can't come in to see them one day and leave or
Right,
something.
right, of course.
I think we just want to be careful how we. write
Sure.
that.
I think that the way Jim's thing there read, I think it kind of
Okay.
said that.
That's all we need, dude. You guys want to discuss the airport? Jim?
I'm fine with them.
Okay.
Okay, I have three issues with the airport that we need to address, whether we want to fix it or what we want to do with it. The first, the air conditioner in the pilot's building, which has a small lounge and a restroom, has been destroyed by mice. We've had Weber out there to look at it. It cannot be repaired. We have quotes to replace it, which is what Weber has recommended. $1,252.06 is buying it through Granger, which is a vendor that we've used in the past. It's the unit is called a P-TAC, and it's one that is used in hotel rooms. It has a heating element and an air conditioner element in it. And if we're permitted to purchase this, we would definitely seal it up better this time. It was installed by the contractor who we had originally hired to build that building, who we removed from the job because he was doing subpar work. It was not sealed around where, so the housing that goes in the building was not sealed between it and the metal flashing or the metal siding on the building. That's how they got in.
Me personally, I'm not in favor of fixing it or putting any money in on it, on the airport right now.
What else? What other issues do you have?
The hoop building, we have the tarp, insurance paid for it. We paid $1,000 deductible. We have not put it up because we weren't sure what we were doing with it. So it's sitting in the Pleasanton shop. Todd would like to he would prefer to go ahead and put it up. He's kind of worried that just leaving it sitting, it's going to rot like the other one did, since we already have it. But we'd have to put together a crew, because it's so big, we'd have to schedule time to have a whole crew go out and put it up.
Is there anywhere else in the county we could utilize that building?
Do we need any more sand storage or anything? That's what we're using.
No.
Or salt?
What's the last issue, Jessica? Or do you have another one?
The fuel pump, which is an ongoing issue. It's been broken for months.
Did you terminate or did you?
The credit card account has been closed, yes. So I don't know if we'll get one more month. I don't know exactly how that works. They've not been very responsive since that first time. And the quote that I got from Hoydale for replacing the pump is $15,000, $2,000 to fix it. And we put fuel in it in October, I believe. And then the pump broke in January, so we've got an almost full tank of fuel out there.
How long does it take to get through a tank of fuel?
It's been taking us about a year.
I don't see how us operating an airport is providing much of a service to anyone in the county. We just continue to add up more and more stuff. out there, I think we should look at options to liquidate the airport.
I agree. I would like, I'm not in favor of putting any more money out there, and I'm in favor of maybe trying to section it off and see what we can get out of each piece of land.
Okay, on that note, I've had someone approach me interested in purchasing the 77.6 acres that we have in Hayground. That's on the west side of the runway. He did not give me an offer. He wanted you all to start that process.
So is there, how would we do that? We just have to get somebody in there to, like, to set back off the, because we'd have to keep the runway, obviously, right?
Right. We would probably have to do a survey to determine, you know, we would tell the surveyor what kind of width we wanted to maintain from the runway.
Do you think there's any regulations like through the aviation probably?
I don't know, there probably are.
We have to keep the runway, you said?
What?
Well, I think we have I don't know that we have to keep it. I think it's got to stay as a runway because the state funded it for that purpose. I mean, if we felt somebody else to operate it as an airport, I think that would be
So
probably.
could it be like split off the hay ground? You got the airport or the runway, and you got the taxi, and then the little developed area, whatever you want to call it. Would that make sense to maybe keep this? How many acres did you say was over there? 77?
It's 77.6 on the west side. There's also 17.8 north of the area that we have designated for hangars.
Wouldn't you want to make a decision on whether or not you're trying to sell the airport to someone before you get into selling off any pieces of ground around it?
That's what I was thinking about.
And I think we need to liquidate the airport. I don't want to be left with the runway.
Yeah, I think that's if we could do that, then, yeah, I agree. But how would we do that with the hangars that's already been sold, Gary? How could we do that with the hangars that's already been sold?
I'm assuming when you say liquidate the airport, you're not talking about plowing it up and not being an airport. You're talking about selling it to somebody.
Just sell it.
Yeah.
Just sell it.
So but what if the people that has a building out there and they already bought land, what if they don't want to sell those little tiny plots?
But we don't own them now, so
We don't own them. That's up to them. If we sell,
sell our stake.
We gotta keep a easement to it though, right? I mean, they gotta have an easement to where their hangars are.
well, one of the things we own is the roads. And we could, those are on the plat as roads, and so we wouldn't sell them off. It would still be a county road.
So then would we still have to build the road? Because there aren't any roads built between the hangars.
Well, those roads between the hangars, when you say roads, there's a roadway that enters, and there's also a maintenance roadway that enters into what looks like roadways between the hangars, but those are actually taxis. Those are not roadways, those are taxis to the hangars. So it wouldn't be a roadway. If someone were to operate as an airport, those are taxiways.
So we could sell the taxiways with the
But I mean,
with the airport.
the agreements when we sold these, did we not have it wrote in there that the operator of the airport would provide access to those lots, or?
That would be the original agreement. We would have to look that up.
I think that's, even if it didn't explicitly say that, I think that is probably implied in the.
I would think so too.
We paid for those gates in that road to be put in that goes in right here, right? So they wouldn't necessarily have to come in this way, right? So like when we did the sale at the landfill, we did stuff right here. It's like
Maintenance gates in.
so that would be their access, right, to get in there to that. And then but there's a road right here. We could shut that down or sell that with the airport.
I think that
Because
there's a lot of speculation. I need to think this through without.
that building right there, his entryway is actually onto the taxi, whatever you want to call it, right by the fuel.
The parking area,
Yeah.
Yes.
or tie down area.
He has an apron from his hangar directly to the tie down area.
Which
And his door is on the west side of the building, so it's right into there.
When you see about getting a hold of somebody, get rid of the fuel, and have them come get it, and then we'll sell it back to somebody.
We can reach out to the vendor and see if they do that.
Or even, well, I mean, do we have any other options there?
Leaded fuel probably. Since
Right.
It's 100 LL. I think that.
I'm just thinking that, you know, that can also be, if whoever's purchasing it, it can go with the purchase of the property. Right? Or not?
I don't know what the legal rights of that be.
So with Pleasanton, so I gotta get this straight. So Pleasanton, they still have a stake in this or no more? That's annexed in, but they don't.
That's all.
It's in
That's
the
all.
city, but and they provide water to it, which we pay for. But beyond that,
They wouldn't have to be involved in none of this?
Nope.
they could buy it from us. Well, they might be interested, I don't know.
Could we put it out there and see if somebody's interested in the airport and the ground?
Yep.
So could we
That's what I think.
start as selling it as one big unit and then if need be, maybe break it? Because I know that the people right here, they might be interested in purchasing this. I just kind of drew a line, but the land right in front.
So that's 17 acres or?
Yeah, it's 17 acres. And then
Well, I agree. I wouldn't split anything off until you
so
see
just make our,
what market is out there.
so
Put
there
it for sale, just put the whole thing for sale and see what
There's
happens.
specific steps you have to go through to sell real estate,
Oh, yeah.
for a county to sell real estate. It's not
Yeah.
just as easy as putting an ad out there, you want to sell it.
Well, I'll line out the process for you, and we need to get a hold of the people that funded it and make sure that there's nothing in the funding documents that will prevent us from doing this.
Okay.
That would be my concern, is if the funding documents say you can't sell it. I can't imagine them saying that, but
should we meet with the airport board too and tell them our goal before we, I mean,
I think we already told them.
yeah. That's one way to look at it.
I do think
I think the-
we're gonna have another work session on it, if we do need to notify them.
Yep.
So they can, if they're interested to be a party to
Or
this.
know someone that is interested.
Okay.
And so should we reach out to all the individual plot owners, Gary, and tell them what our plan is?
well, once we get a plan,
I think we got to develop the plan first.
yeah, once we get a plan, I suppose, maybe one of them be interested in buying it. I don't know. And at times in the past, we have been contacted by fixed-based operators who wanted to run the airport. I don't know if you have any,
I don't have any.
you remember that when we,
Yeah.
yeah.
The one that I was in that reached out to me is currently a pilot and he's on my committee. That's the only person I've ever had reach out to me about operating the airport. And he didn't say anything about buying it. He just said something about operating it.
Another option is to keep it, but lease it to somebody and let them take care of it. But I don't think that's as good option as getting rid of it, but.
So we're gonna take the hoop building down, the framing? And
If that is already, I will reach out and find, a better suited area for it. And we'll get with Todd and Jake and have that pulled out.
Maybe we could get some more, put more salt in it ahead of time, buy it cheaper or something. I guess we contracted anyways.
Do you think that little hoop building would have any value for someone that would be interested in buying the airport?
I don't know. All right.
I know that it's sitting there with just a framing and didn't something get broke because of the winds?
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why, yeah, we do. We have replacement parts, and that's why we had to replace the tarp, is because it got caught in the wind and ripped to shreds and pulled some of the framing off the base. So, but we have replacement parts for it.
So should we take it down to the store, or you guys want to try to sell it or use it? What do you guys want to do?
Or do we see what, like David said there, do we see if it's gonna
I
go with
haven't
the
heard anything
property
there.
or
I
not?
mean, it's not
Just leave the
breaking
framing
anything
in.
else, is it?
I did have contact and it could
contacted them again. Fort Scott contacted me and was looking for buildings here in the recent past for salt storage.
I think we're all in favor of not putting the tarp back on it then. But if it sells with the airport, then we just give it in the tarp.
Yeah, we can do that. Just leave it there. If we don't get that done, we can move it.
So the frame, you think the frame will be all right for a while?
It's fine the way it is. I think they took the back wall off of it, so if we get another wind event, it won't catch.
If you'd like me to reach out and see if anybody has an interest in purchasing it from us, I will.
That's fine.
Then the AC, we're obviously not,
You'll reach out and see if we can get rid of the fuel now, or you're gonna
So,
wait?
yes, so I can reach out to the vendor and see if we have any options for them taking it back. I can reach out to the airport committee if you want to tell me when you want to talk about it next. I can see if anyone is interested. And I'm going to reach out to KDOT and see if there's any restrictions from their standpoint
So I
about
think-
selling it.
I think the first thing we need to do is do the KDOT
Yep.
thing, then,
And then in the meantime, I'll work out the steps for selling it. If we
Correct.
Sell it.
right? And then we have the meeting with the airport committee.
I'd say so.
The only implication on the heat and air unit is obviously for the bathroom, and if we need to, if we're still in this process, come in and we'll have to price it.
Right.
so do you think if we sell it, because how was that agreement wrote with Pleasanton with the water? If we sell it, will that continue on like that, or was that a special agreement, or?
No, they'll continue to sell water to whoever's the customer there.
You know, just pull the meter. I mean, either way, if somebody don't want it, you just take the meter out.
I think that's a good plan.
Moving forward.
I'll try to reach out to those to KDOT this week and get with Gary.
So is there any action we should take to, I guess it's still a county entity and people can still use it, right? Even though we're not funding it? I mean,
Right now it is, yeah. I mean, right now, it's still the county airstrip. We have an NTA out there? that
We
says
have a NOTAM that
there's
says no fuel, yes. And we've taken it, yeah, so any pilot that pulls up, they all have an app. Any pilot that pulls up, airports in the area, if they're flying towards us, they will see that there's a NOTAM for our airport that there's no fuel. They can still land there if they want to. But there's no, they all see when they're coming in that there's no fuel. And I think that NOTAM, we've already renewed it and it's good for another 90 days, I think, but we'll just keep renewing it until we figure out what to do.
Sounds good, thank you. Sounds like a good plan. On the Pleasanton Senior Center, her and I didn't contact, we're actually still talking, I gotta go talk to her tonight, or today or tonight, so. When I get an answer, I'll probably just email Gary, I'll email you, Gary, and you can pass it on, the info that I get.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You had scheduled going to the landfill next week at the end of the meeting to look at things down there. Is there a specific time you want to set for doing that, or just whenever we get done with things?
I think just when we get done, right?
You've got it on there at 11:30 question mark. That's
Well,
about time we
Yeah,
usually get
and
to
that's-
these things.
I have it
right?
penciled in on next week at 11:30. So far, the only other thing I have on next week's agenda is Ally Hamilton's coming in at 10:30 to talk about her highway sign project.
So do we not have to make that a special meeting? We're just moving the meeting
No,
down?
we just-
Want to adjourn down?
We would just recess from here and reconvene there and be part of the regular meeting.
Okay.
Gary, I know one time, I think it was you that stated something about, people were asking about a camera back here in the back. Is that something you guys want to look into, see what Chris can do for us? So people can see the audience and who's involved. Gary had mentioned that, so I don't know if
It was just an idea. I mean,
Chris has something he could hook up easy. You want to maybe talk to him and see?
If you want to, I mean, I had mentioned it to Chris and he thought it could easily be done, but he didn't do an estimate on it or anything.
Anything else?
I don't know.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion been second, all in favor?
Aye.